do not understand Islam. I did not understand Islam until I studied it. I read my Quran every day and I study it. When a situation comes up, I ask the elders about those situations. I would not condone, and I do not condone, any type of death or destruction by any Muslim, and I know the Muslim community does not either. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Preston. David Paul. Mr. Paul, that was a great picture this morning.
Next time you'll have to stand next to me. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, good evening. I don't know how many of you enjoy Wayne Dyer, but he said something a few years ago that struck me because I agree with what he said. He said that he's at the point in his life where he just wants to be happy. And that's what I want. You know, I've found that the easiest way to love your enemies is to just not have any. But that is sometimes difficult when people want to fight you. And when you're like me, who has a tradition, the Vice Mayor and I have a Norse background, and in the genetic code of the Norseman is the berserker, and I carry that gene. So sometimes I can get a little intense. And I apologize for that, but my higher mind always has control. The point I'm getting at is tonight I was a little thrown off my game by somebody who said something very mean to me just because that's how they are, and that affects me, and I have to learn not to let those things affect me. But to clarify the point, I'd like to get into the fight science sometimes of why the naked berserker covered in mud with the battle axe is something more than a crazy man chasing you. But I talk about a job I had almost 30 years ago. I was a counselor at a home for delinquent youth, and we had 2 wards, an east and west ward. And when you have something like that, you always have the north and south conflict or whatever it is. And so I was in a staff meeting and sitting around the table with all the staff, and someone comes running in saying, both wards have emptied, the boys are out, they're having a massive fight. So I ran to the door, the hall, and out into the courtyard where they were fighting. And I saw some staff. One person's going like this. One person's going like this. I just darted out there. I assessed the situation. I saw one kid in particular. He had a baseball bat. He was wheeling it, viciously swinging it. I got up to him as he was about to kill this young man. I pulled it out of the back of his hands, and I put him on the ground so hard that the earth shook. The fight stopped immediately. I wish we could do that here. I don't want the fighting. But I just want to say this. Mr. Mayor, I'm glad you're here. Mr. Rodeo, I have the greatest respect for you. If I need a plumbing contractor, I will give you a call. But when I sat at the debate last time, when the mayor and you got into the fight, you just looked bewildered, Mr. Rodeo, and the mayor didn't. That's the difference between you and he. That's the difference between you and me. And we need someone who is battle-tested and can stand up to that as mayor. And that is my point. Things are coming that we're not going to imagine, and we need a strong mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.